Have you ever wondered what happens to your retirement account if something happens to you? Well, here's a thought. A living trust could be the key to making sure that your retirement savings go exactly where you want them to go, the way that you want them to go. Hi, I'm estate planning attorney Mike Smith with Smith Barid LLC, and I'm one half of the estate planning guys. Today, we're talking about a big decision in estate planning. Why you might want to name a living trust as the beneficiary of your retirement accounts. So let's dive into how this choice can make a world of difference for you and your loved ones. Now, many people name their spouse, their children, or another loved one directly as the beneficiary of their retirement accounts like IRAs or 401ks. And while that can work just fine in a lot of cases, there's a downside to that. If the person you name is young, financially inexperienced, or maybe not in the best financial situation, inheriting a large retirement fund could create issues for them, like poor spending decisions or tax burdens that they're not prepared for. So how do you protect them while still ensuring they benefit from your hard-earned savings? Well, that's where naming a living trust as the beneficiary can come into play. So now let's talk about why a living trust could be the right choice as a beneficiary for your retirement account. The first thing is that it gives control over distribution. So when you name a trust as the beneficiary of a retirement account, you can control how and when your beneficiaries receive the funds. So for example, you could set up the trust to distribute funds over time instead of as a lump sum. And this approach can prevent overspending and ensure that the money lasts as long as possible. And it's a backstop for them rather than just a giant party, especially when the beneficiary is young or they may need guidance in managing a significant sum. The second thing is that you want the inheritance to be as tax efficient as possible. Inheriting retirement accounts can create a sizable tax burden if beneficiaries aren't prepared for that or it's not handled the right way. With a trust, you can outline a more tax efficient plan, potentially reducing the taxes that they'd owe. So properly structured, a trust can ensure that distributions happen in a way that minimizes the tax impacts. This is especially important given the recent tax law changes that impact inherited IRAs and retirement accounts like the Secure Act. The third thing is protection from creditors and bankruptcy, frankly. ERISA qualified accounts like 401ks already offer creditor protection, meaning that creditors typically cannot touch these funds while they're held in that ERISA covered account. Same thing applies for IRAs. However, once these assets are inherited or transferred, particularly into IRAs, that protection can decrease a little bit or be lost altogether. In some cases, bankruptcy law might allow creditors access to an inherited IRA. There was a case in the Supreme Court in 2014 where creditors were allowed to access an inherited IRA. The court found that an inherited IRA was not the same thing as a retirement account, was therefore not entitled to the protections that would normally be there for IRA accounts. So by placing your retirement assets in a trust, you can help preserve a layer of protection even as the funds change hands. You can safeguard them from financial or legal challenges that your heirs might face. So let's talk about a case study. We'll just call them John and Mary for purposes of our conversation, and we'll bring this to life with an example. Now, imagine that John and Mary are a couple and they're planning their retirement. They have a sizable IRA and they want to leave it to their children when they're gone. And both of their kids are in their 20s. Their concern is that if their kids inherit the entire amount directly, they'll face a big tax bill and they might spend what remains too quickly. Might not benefit them all that much. So to address this, John and Mary chose to name their living trust as the beneficiary of their IRA. With the Secure Act, inherited IRAs must be fully distributed within 10 years. There's some exceptions to that, but as a general rule, and that can create a really significant tax impact if the funds are withdrawn from the IRA all at once. By setting up a trust, John and Mary can structure the distributions to occur gradually within that 10-year period at roughly 10% a year. And that helps to manage that tax burden and spread it out so that maybe we don't go into another tax bracket, our marginal rate is not as high, and that'll just reduce the amount that goes to the government. And it ensures that the funds are gonna last a lot longer too, so the kids can't, blow that money on a trip to Vegas, if you will. So this setup, it complies with current tax law, but it also provides added control over how the funds are used. And here's the catch. While a trust can't offer all these protections, it has to be set up correctly. Naming a trust as the beneficiary of a retirement account can be complex, and any mistakes could create an unexpected tax issue or prevent the funds from being distributed as you'd planned. And that's why it's essential to work with an estate planning attorney who understands the ins and outs of retirement accounts and trusts. With the right guidance, you can design the trust to align with your family's needs and ensure that it complies with tax laws. This extra step is what can turn your retirement account into a real legacy for your loved ones. So to wrap it up, naming a living trust as the beneficiary of your retirement account can offer control, tax efficiency, and creditor protection for your heirs. This setup can be especially beneficial if your beneficiaries are young, need financial protection, or could benefit from some spending guidance. It's a powerful choice, but only when it's done right. Do you think a living trust might be the right option for your retirement planning? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're interested in learning more about protecting your legacy, make sure to check out our other videos on estate planning strategies. And don't forget to subscribe for more insights on how to plan for the future with confidence. I'm Mike Smith with the Estate Planning Guys. Thanks for watching.